Welcome back to Affirmations. Please like, share, and subscribe. I want to thank my subscribers as well as my new subscribers, as well as those of you who are just swinging through. Okay, help me grow the YouTube channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, all right. Hopefully, you all had a good week. Okay. At this point, the election would have happened. Okay. I'm kind of pre recording this. So, again, I'm hoping everyone was safe and everything is peaceful. um, so, let's see. For those of you that are new, we tackled the topic of healing slave trauma. Okay. And one of the first things we do is we always start off with our saying, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Have you been feeding yourself fresh or rotten fruit? Always want to mind the self talk that we do with ourselves, as well as what we speak, as well as what we speak about others. Uh, nothing wrong with speaking truths or venting, but when we're being malicious and lying on others, sometimes that can activate reap, which is so. We want to be kind, okay? All right. Let's see. So, for those of you that are new, we, as earlier said, we tackling the topic of healing slave trauma. We're going to be using the DBT deck for clients and therapists, 101 mindful practices to manage distress, regulate emotions, and build better relationships. Okay. Also, too, in the past, we were using the self therapy card deck. This is an excellent deck as well for people that want to do uh, kind of some self improvement. Okay. And we will be going back to these cards eventually. It was a lot of cards that we didn't get to use. Okay. And also continuing to encourage everyone to get the book called Post Traumatic Slave Syndrome, America's Legacy of Enduring Injury and Healing by Dr. Joy DeGury. Important book, again, to help us understand how we're still being affected today. Okay. And if you look in the community tab, there's a video. Scroll down, you'll see Dr. Joy DeGury. There's one, a more recent one, where she has kind of short hair with kind of a white blondish color. But then if you go scroll further down, some years ago, you'll see her with darker hair with glasses doing a lecture. And that was the first time I ever heard of her. She was dynamic, okay, mind blowing. First time I ever heard someone talk about slavery in how we're being affected in the way that she did, and made it relevant. Okay, so very powerful. So check out his videos of her on the community tab. Okay. Okay. So those of you that are new, I'm going to grab the stones. Are you imagining better for yourself? Or are you imagining a lot of negative things? Okay. Got to think about that. There's thought that, there's discussions about, what we think, but we know what we speak, because, there's a video, and I need to find it and put in the community tab, where, a lot of people have seen this already, where they have the person speaking to water, and like for 3 days, they're just saying mean things to water. Then for the other, another, and also too, at the same time, they're speaking to another glass of water in a positive way. They looked under the microscope, the words that were negative. When they looked at that water, it was just kind of dark and just very, like very almost demonic looking figures. Then the one that was spoke to in a kind way, beautiful designs looking like snowflakes, right? And when we think about, our bodies are made up of, what is it, 70 to 80% of water. Yeah. So we're speaking, and it's doing something, because the voice has vibration. So they're studying it even more, that it's even more to it than that. The voice is very powerful, right? So that scripture that we quote in the beginning, life and death is in the power of the tongue, is something very much true, right? So we have to watch the the speaking and even the thinking, right? So if we can't imagine whatever we're imagining, the concept is that it's drawing that negativity to you. Okay, so that's something to be thinking about. Okay, strength. Yeah, it takes strength to fight the negativity that's around you, and kind of choose to uh, be positive, right? And find the positive in it, right? For every negative, there's a positive, right? Or how to shift things. It's the only way that we're going to have peace. If we don't learn how to do that, the more negative you speak to yourself, you will not be at peace. You'll be in turmoil, right? And the courage to do the things we need to do in order to make some changes. Okay. And then once we do all we can do, right? Because that's what our people did. They did all they can do, and then they have to depend on faith. Yeah. And a lot of great things were done from our people with faith. What is it that you have faith in? Something to think about, okay? So I picked up all those stones and joined having that discussion. So I'm just going to randomly pick a deck. I'm going to pick this red deck because we have a lot with this one. So let's see what we got. What we're going to get today. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's special. Okay. So let's see which one we're going to get. Those two like they want to pop. Okay, let's get this one. And I'll put this back. Okay. Keys to trust. Let's see what this is talking about. It says many of us experience trust issues and struggle over whether others deserve our trust. The following helps determine whether someone is trustworthy. Number one, trustworthy people are honest and tell the truth. And remember, we had talked about this, how this is tricky. A lot of our being untrustworthy or maybe being secretive stems from slavery. In order to survive, we had to be secretive. And we talked about how a lot of us will be taking on the role of master and slave, right? That of slave catcher, that of overseer, we all take on these different roles at different times. Some more than others, and some will stay in a role. And so because sometimes we have been turned into the oppressor, people have had to learn how to be secretive in order to either survive or to keep peace. And so that's a trait that we've looked at, okay? But we now have to start asking ourselves, we know the origins of these trust issues. Again, we were pitted against each other as well. So a lot of mental games played there as well. But now we do have a right to kind of look at who deserves our trust, okay? And we want to slowly get to the point of figuring out, I need to figure out how can I get around more trustworthy people. I want to be around people where I'm safe enough so I can tell truths. Or do I tend to be gravitating to people where I feel like I got to lie? And then if you're lying to people, right, that's a manipulation, meaning you're having relationships based off of falsehoods. So understand, we want to get to the point to where if we're struggling with being trustworthy, we want to learn how to respect people when they decide, you know what, you're not trustworthy, I think I'm gone. We want to be able to let them go, okay, and not do what they call gaslighting, like, oh, you're lying, you're making this up. Let's at least be honest, okay? Number two, trustworthy people show others respect, treating others fairly and with dignity, all right? Do unto others as you have them do unto you. Or are you a person that says, well, I got hurt, so therefore my goal now is to hurt? And again, we talk about, not only death and life is in the power of the tongue, but also too, when you put out certain actions, again, the reap what you sow, right? That's going to come back in some kind of way. No good is going to come from that eventually. Number three, trustworthy people can look outside themselves and work to understand others. Are you about trying to understand others, or are you about manipulating to get your way? Okay, are you taking on master's role? Because again, a lot of us mimics that. It's not about what's fair. It's about what I want. Okay, number four, trustworthy people are stable and consistent, and others can rely on their predictability. Are we all over the place? Huh? Do we like playing games and disappearing? Okay. And so, a lot of times, a lot of people have been talking about in the dating scene and just in relationships in general, a whole thing, the ghosting. I got ghosted. That's the new word everybody talks about. But that people say, people do these type of things, oh, I'll bait you in. And even a lot of relationships are based off of this, all this honeymoon phase. And this, oh, so romantic. Soon as a person gets comfortable, and a lot of times once they bed a person, that's kind of, uh, again, the purpose of sexual relations is to draw and build connections. But because of the toxicity and the unhealthiness and slavery, it's used as a power tool. It's an humbling tool. It's a control tool. It's an abuse tool, right? So then you draw someone in and then you pull back and snapshot stop, right? Which confuses someone, which creates what they call a trauma bond. Right? So sometimes you'll see this, and I want people to be aware of this. This is what happens when you see people doing this. Like they were just so nice and they just disappeared. They're trying to trauma bond you to them, right? Because guess what? I know I don't have what it takes in order to really sustain a relationship, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm selfish. I want you in your head and I want you attached forever. I want you traumatized to me, right? I need you in counseling, right? So that's a master move. Like a master would do that, right? Our master would do a lot of uh, torturous things to us. So are we taking that on? The fifth, number 5, trust should not be automatic. People who demonstrate the above 4 keys over time can earn your trust. And I will say we're very trusting people, very trusting people. But what's sad about it is that we're more trusting with other groups than ourselves. And again, we've been programmed to do so, right? We have Stockholm syndrome where we identify with our abusers, right? We love them more than we love ourselves. We take up for them more than we take up for our own. We'll protect them before we protect our own. We've been programmed that way, okay? But we got to get to the point to where even within our own groups, people need to demonstrate trust. Now, this is what I want people who are not trustworthy. When someone doesn't trust you, at least be able to say, I understand, and not gaslight or try to push or continue. Let's say if you can't help yourself and you're being manipulative, but once someone sets a boundary, try to respect that. Back off. Okay. So also too, inhale, exhale. A lot of times we talk about a lot of things that can be triggering, okay? And so understand that this is a safe place. We're okay. But we have to talk about these things in order to heal. Also, in the description box, there's information about, if you need to find a therapist. I'm also encouraging everyone to consider getting a mental health checkup as well, a yearly mental health checkup. There's information in the description box on how to contact me for that, okay? And also, too, trust issues as far as safety. That's very scary when you're, with people who are not only not trustworthy, but not even safe, so that can be scary. Which can bring about some severe mental health issues. Again, in the description section, there's information about self-harm as well. Sometimes people can be driven to that, not wanting to live, okay? So safety is key, So do pass information on that you see in the description box on to others as needed, okay? All right, so let's see. We are going to get this particular deck today and see what we come up with. Let's see what affirmation we come up with today. Okay. Yeah, are you trustworthy? Okay, all those fill out. That's a lot. Let's do it again. Let's get it together. Yeah, and if someone's closed off to you, is there? Have you done anything to contribute to that, huh? Okay, so we got achievement popped out. Okay, achievement. Okay, this is interesting. Achievement. Okay, we're going to tie in trustworthiness with achievement. Are you a kind of person that, in order to get ahead and to achieve, you've used non-truthful tactics? Hmm? I look at that cat, look like it's being sneaky. Yeah, yeah. So are you struggling with this topic with achievement, but using looks like the cat is looking, studying a prey. Yeah. So in order to achieve, do you sit back and watch your people and figure out who you can, what angle you can come at to kind of manipulate to get what you want? You know, try honesty. Amazing. Sometimes you can just be honest that, I'm struggling with this and this is what I need. Our people are very kind, you know. But when you do that, and if you should get caught, let's say if you can't help yourself, at least be able to uh, respectfully leave and not continue to manipulate to try to stay in the situation and keep people bound, right? So that's a tricky thing, you know. Definitely got to do some journaling and healing around that. Where did you learn that from? What's your fear of what would happen if you were just yourself or just went by things in a more trustworthy manner? Okay. And practice makes perfect. Okay. So with that, y'all, I want to thank you all for joining me today. Okay. Do check out the community tab. Check out the description box and the about page on how to support the channel. Also wanting, uh, let's see, you all to remember and to never forget everyone has a right to heal from trauma, even a race nation. Okay. And until next time, bye.